Yes, friends, welcome to our another live episode, live podcast with Rashid Sheikh. So today I thought I give you some insight of how I'm using AI in our daily business routine. Honestly, different people see AI's role differently. There are some people who will say that AI is going to take away our jobs, and just like there was kind of a thought that internet is going to take away our job, and now there is a thought that okay, AI is going to take away our jobs. I see it a little bit differently. I believe all these technologies and tools are making us smarter, more efficient, and more valuable, if I may say, than we were ever before. I mean, just take a look at segments of different eras. As human being continue developing new tools and technologies, they have not been replaced by machines. They actually use machines to utilize their time better, and they produce more. The production rate nowadays is much higher, and that is the only way we could sustain, because look at our population is far greater than before. So even though with all population control and all that, you can see you cannot give me essentially when the population was far less. Overall, the population is bigger. It's at more wider. It is at more different places. The lifestyles are better overall if you compare last decade to this decade. When you're talking about macroeconomics, you have to talk about decades and centuries and millenniums. You cannot just talk about 1 to 2 year or 1 to 2 month. So overall, tools and technologies have always made human beings more efficient, more useful, and I will say more capable. And they can explore more things and understand things more. And they can understand even their existence more and their purpose more. So I believe AI is doing just that. So I don't want to talk theoretical. I want to give you my practical examples of how I'm using AI. So you may share your experience, and I hope you share your experience and help the people understand how they can make themselves more efficient, more useful. They can use their time more effectively, and they can actually have more time for themselves because they're using these tools. So, without further ado, let me give you a few examples. So, if you are one of those people who are already using AI and well ahead of the game, then this podcast is not really for you. This podcast is still for you because you can see how I'm using it and how you're using it and how we can learn from each other. And I hope you share your experience in this live podcast and even afterwards. So, for example, when we develop a scope document, we basically, if we use AI, instead of just writing, a scope yourself, you may not have a very comprehensive and technically sound view in your scope document. So, for example, I was going to ask, an appraisal company to appraise my large project for few banks. So when bank ask the appraisal companies that to appraise a large project like which is tens of millions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars, they have a typical methodology. They have a department who gives them marching order. They give them the project information, and then they just say go appraise it. I actually see the problem different. I believe that if you really want a very scientific approach and more comprehensive solution to any problem, you need to better understand your problem, break it down, and let people see that way as well. So if you do not break it down for yourself and don't look at in the future what you are looking to use this report for or this appraisal for, then you cannot expect a typical approach coming and giving you all those answers, because at the end of the day you are the leader, you are the visionary, so you really have a comprehensive view of looking at the problem the way, and you can use the same report for many other things as well in the same amount of cost if you define your report properly. That's another discipline which you can, take from here. So whenever I am trying to solve any problem, any major problem at least, I like to encourage our folks to have a very clear scope, document. In the olden days, you ask, a technical person to write a technical scope, or maybe a quality insurance, or insurance person. Is there a quality assurance person, or an insurance person, or a finance person, or a bunch of different departments to provide their input. Now, can you imagine how long would it take, and it still would not be 100% comprehensive, and you are always getting complaints from the engineering department, from marketing department, from sales department, from finance department, from accounting, and from HR, many different departments. They say, oh, you didn't take our input, otherwise I would have put this scope document. And hence the actual, project, when it is, given, for bids, and then when it's actually rewarded, when the project is awarded, then you say, oh, well, this is not the project I am looking for. So you don't have the ownership. So imagine the time and the tug of war of developing any that kind of scope document, and then all those, complaints. So now, fast forward and look at where we are today. If you have any even raw thoughts, you can have an AI tool like ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT, full disclaimer. I'm sure there are lots of tools out there, but I really don't have time to research those tools. And I don't really go after just the gimmicks and marketing that this tool does this. Well, let me use what I can use first. And yes, I would like to learn and understand more as well. But can I even use what I have in my hand? So I have a paid ChatGPT account, and what I do is I put my raw thoughts in bullets in that. And of course, that tool could be even more intuitive, it could be better. But whatever it is so far, I give them various, variables from different, you know, departments or different, thought processes, and what I like to see in the future, not directly benefiting, but indirectly benefiting. And I write that, I just give this raw thoughts. Now I don't have to worry about making it, very proper sequence. I don't have to worry about right English. I don't have to worry about, missing the facts. I actually just put my raw thoughts and I let the chat GPT do the rest of the job. Believe it or not, to my surprise, when I did this scope document, this was absolutely the best scope document I have seen. And I have been doing this for quite a while. And I tell you, it's very, very comprehensive. And it was very efficient, and it was done, within a few minutes, instead of, not only hours, but days and maybe weeks getting everybody's input. And now you can give that document to a couple of people and they can review it. And much faster, you realize everybody's kind of happy. Or if they're not, it's very easy to, edit and add or subtract or whatever else you want to do. So that was really one experience I had. And to my surprise, I believe that that saved me a lot of time, a lot of headache, and created a lot of harmony in different departments. And also, it produced a very comprehensive, scope document that actually helped us get the report the way we wanted, which was, much more comprehensive than otherwise. And yet, believe it or not, the cost was same, because the effort to the party who was doing the appraisal was not really so different. It was that I am asking them the information which they collect in raw data, but they may not synthesize it properly because I didn't have the scope document or well written scope document before. The data was there. So basically, the thing is, it's just making your effort a lot more productive and efficient. So, did it take anybody's job? No. Did it really make everybody's job more efficient? Absolutely, yes. So, what we do, we actually can make better decision, and we can use our time, allocate our time to other activities. And if not, I mean, if you have more time, then you can actually put it on yourself, your health, your gym, your other activities. Whether you are a single person entity or you are, large entity, it doesn't matter. The matter of the fact is everybody's time is used more effectively, efficiently, and it has more productivity, and basically it produce very good results. Now let me give you another experience. So I had, several bank proposal for a large project to review, to analyze. And those proposals or offers, so to speak, have lots of elements. And some of those elements are written in fine print. It is humanly impossible to actually, you get tend to bore on reading, and then you cannot, remember all those, conditions. And if you have to start writing and making notes, it literally can take you not only hours, but it can take days and weeks. And matter of fact, you would have to ask an attorney, you have to ask a finance person, you have to ask different disciplines to analyze and then compare those different proposals or offers. Now, here what I did is I basically uploaded the PDF document. It will take PDF document, no problem. I uploaded the PDF document, and you can do Word document, any type of documents you can upload to the AI tool, and then that can really, and then you can ask the AI tool to compare either in Excel, in PDF, in table, in Word document, any type of comparison table you like to see. And then you can continue modifying and emphasize on something and de-emphasize on something else, and that give you a very, very good, it could give you one page comparison, it can give you two-page comparison, it can give you table, it can give you Excel, it gives you a beautiful, beautiful comparison, very fast comparison. And now here you are, that in a much shorter time, you could actually identify your opportunity and you can analyze better, and you can identify your opportunity, and then you know which bank you have to go with. So, I mean, likewise, there are many, many things you can analyze, compare, develop, by using your AI tool, and your job will be more perfected in more timely manner. So let me give you another example that I had to make a proposal to a city for some land development. Now, certainly I had different ideas, and yes, you can go to land attorney, and land attorney will give you ideas, but bear in mind, I have never seen a land attorney who understands every single town or city bylaws, and can really give you the absolute best use. I mean, yes, different people will give you different perspective, more, experience, and sharp, and more, and hence expensive as well. Attorney you find give you better answer, but they even have to do research. So it's just like when doctor give you prescription, they have to do a research, believe it or not, because there's just so much data. It's at the end of the day, we are analyzing the data. We are analyzing the data. So who could analyze the data faster, better, more accurately? You, a human being, or a computer? You have to decide. Now, I am not saying that an AI tool could actually replace you as a human being. No, you still, because God has given you that ability, that even the best AI tool cannot replicate you if you really have the right skills. That what I do is I give different, commands. I'm using the word commands in terms of bullets of what do I really like to see, what I really like to emphasize. So you really need to still narrow down what you want, but you can put your raw thoughts in your mind, and then you can put those raw thoughts and then develop a very good response. So I had to make a land development proposal to a town. I have actually already made a couple of proposals before for the same land development. Unfortunately, they did not go very well, and some of those came through attorneys. So what I did is actually I Did a little bit of study myself. I did a little bit of research, and of course, doing research through AI tool make it's better, but you still have to spend some time and analyze. And then I came up with an idea, and I gave those, conditions, to the AI tool, and I started developing a comparison, and I started then was able to also have a mix density. What will be the mix? What will be the density? And can that density be supported by the town's current bylaws, other projects, and also what's going on in the near around towns? And what is their density? What's their project? What is the demand? All those things I was able to do in a matter of few hours instead of days, and instead of lots of money spent on the land engineer, land lawyer, and what have you. You can still consult them after you come up with your own, little answer. But I tell you, I came up with a very comprehensive answer. Even I was impressed, and I was happy that it even gave me, what is in it for the town to approve it, what is in it for the community to improve it, what is in it for the economy, local economy, what is in it for the state, what is in it for the federal, and what would be the conditions, and how those conditions will be approved, and how would that, and what would be the rationale, which the planning board has to write the rationale. The AI wrote that draft. So then when you are giving in a, and then also in a tone that it doesn't look any, I will say, combative, but more suggestive. So you come up with that, then again, you can come up with one page summary or 2 3 page document. Now you have a beautiful document with amazing comparison, both within the town, outside of the town, and it codified the state, the federal laws, and economic benefit, community benefit, all those things. I was able to develop that in a matter of hours. Now, can you really do that otherwise? I mean, take example of just buying a simple car. And amazingly, these are all the things I had to do recently. I also had to buy a car, and I did a. So that's the reason I call three dimensional approach. It's not just negotiation, because people believe, oh, okay, you're a great negotiator. No, it's not about negotiation. It's about change management. You are changing the mindset of the person so they can see what you see, and then you can make collective decisions more efficiently, and they see what you have, because it's not like you want benefit on your side. That's a very wrong perception. And if somebody sees it as a negotiation, that's not. You want to, when you talking to somebody and somebody say, oh, you are a great negotiator, well, you may want to take a little pride, but instead of taking a pride, you should be humbling yourself and explain that I'm not trying to do a negotiation, because negotiation has a little bit negative, connotation. You basically want to explain, no, we want to really migrate from the mindset we have to a mindset, that will benefit mutually to everybody in the team, all the stakeholders. And that's the reason I gave you guys last time example of three-dimensional approach. Three-dimensional approach to change management. The first one is tactical, that all those negotiation things, tactics, basically taking this information, taking that information, and trying to convince somebody, that is tactical, and it's important because that is a cordial way of communication. And that's really, bringing, what's again, the idea is to change mind, bringing people on the same platform. So that's really the tactical and first approach. But in my opinion, the most important thing is really in the middle, and that is the technical. At the end of the day, any problem you are trying to solve, you should be able to dissect the problem. What problems are we trying to solve? Dissect the problem and look at the technical data behind that problem and analyze it, and then present it so the other party can see it. For example, you are going to buy a car. Now you got to see that what is the true cost of that car. It used to be the invoice price, and even that's now hidden because the car dealers get various, holdbacks, and they get those holdback release and get their margin. They have, for example, the first 3%, which is the gap between invoice price and the list price. Then they have, holdback on whatever extra they sell you, like all those extras that comes with the car that has much higher margin. That's when you see the prices of those things as compared to the benefit of those things is much higher, but you don't have a choice because the car is already put in with those things unless you are putting a custom car. And if you do a custom car, they don't give you a discount. But anyway, so you basically have, then that holdback. Then you have, another holdback based on your sales volume one, first layer, then second layer, third layer. So you got to understand all those holdbacks and total margin. And that total margin is very hidden. It depends on the volume of the dealer and many things. Believe it or not, I mean, at a point there was like, okay, if you get 8% discount, it was like a big deal, big deal. But I have seen discounts in cars like more than double digit. I mean, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16% even. And that's not possible with everybody. And that is possible based on your technical information, technical data. At the end of the day, it is about what you know technically and analyzing the technical data. And that is where AI is super helpful. Now, I must say that not all the data is public. AI is only as good as the data they can pull. And that's the reason now what you can do is if the data is not public, you can supply that data. And I do that all the time. And then they basically give you a disclaimer that that is based on your data. And then you can create that comparison. And that data could be actual data where you get from a source and you can code a source, or it could be based on your information. Regardless, it gives you a very good benchmark. And then, of course, it gives you a comparison. It has actual published data, it has your data, it has then the source data, and it can give you a very good comparison and a benchmark. So that's the technical side. And then the last piece is strategic side. How you depend on the other party and how other party depend on you, the interdependence, and then interest satisfaction. So how then you change a meddler to an ally. Remember, we talked about last time that it's a stakeholder analysis that, what is your interdependence and what is your interest satisfaction. So it's basically dependency and interest plot. And if you have alignment with somebody on interdependency and interest satisfaction, then that is your ally. And if you don't have it and you don't know it, then that could be a meddler. But if the parties know, and then they could be blocker as long as they know that this is your interest and their interest is kind of against each other. So now through the technical data, through the strategy, you have to communicate and you have to convince that it is really not against you. This is how, that's the strategy, that how this seems to be a conflict or a conflicting interest and conflicting dependency, but the reality is it could really be benefiting all parties or both parties or three parties. And that is your job in with strategy, that how with other variables you prove that how this is in best interest of all parties. And that's where you change the mindset. So it's a game of changing. It's a change management. Remember I said easy answer is the no answer. So with these tools and technical data and understanding what problem you're trying to solve, and having all these tools make you more efficient, help you build your strategy, your techniques, your technical data, and hence also can help you in your tactics as well. So I think that the AI tools can really help us, be more efficient and be more productive if we use them properly. And I hope you're all using these tools and you are seeing yourself more productive and your teams more productive instead of thinking that we are being replaced. I think with that, may God bless you And please utilize these tools and share your experience with these tools. And that will help us learn from each other. Thank you very much. May God bless you, and Happy New Year. Thank you.